I'd like to talk to you about something that's probably more important than anything that has touched this country in generations, and that's our inability to produce our own energy. As you know, we use about 6.5 billion barrels of oil in this country every year. About 4 billion of those barrels come from off our shores. Some of it comes from my neighbors in Alberta. They are good trading partners. They are our friends, and we can count on Alberta. But after Alberta, these trading partners, Venezuela, Algeria, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kazakhstan, Angola, Nigeria. Are you getting the picture? These are not our friends, and many of them are run by dictators, people who don't share our way of life. They, in fact, many of them receive large numbers of dollars every time you fill up your car with gasoline, and some of that money is making it to the pockets of terrorists who would like to destroy our way of life. I submit to you the most important issue of this time and the next generation and the generation after is creating energy independence. Now, we're all looking at each other shell-shocked. How can we get there? As you know, going back all the way to 1948 when we tipped the balance. It was 1948 when we began to consume more oil than we could produce in this country. And it was during the Carter administration we moaned that 40% of the oil we consume is imported. And then, when there was the Arab embargo, price of fuel went up, there were gas lines, and we were committed at that time. You remember those times? Jimmy Carter said, we have to conserve energy. We have to produce our own energy. And so there were a lot of ideas in the late 70s. Coal gasification was one of them. Wind power was one of them. Biofuels and conservation was the lead. I'd like to talk to you about some of those today. Remember our problem? 4 billion barrels of imported oil. Let us assume that we can continue to produce 2.5 billion barrels domestically. I think that we can do that. In Montana, we are one of the 2 states that actually increased our oil production during the last 12 months. We'll do our part in gas and oil, but there's more to do. I think we heard the President say a few months ago, he leaned into the podium in a very serious way, and he looked at every one of us in our living rooms, and he said, we are addicted to oil.